on this, and perhaps you can go day one for us. Yeah, I mean, I'm very much an e-commerce background kind of person. We started there, and till this point, I'm still doing e-commerce. I'm kind of dabbling in other things now. It's not exactly from what I started, but that is kind of, I guess, my starting point. And to be fair, I didn't just jump into it either. I didn't just quit my job and just go. I think for the first year and a half or so, it was kind of I'm doing my full-time job and building slowly. My partner, who I worked with for the last 5 years on that business, so we're not together anymore in terms of like working on current projects. But for that one, we both had full-time jobs. We worked full-time, but on our spare time at weekends, we started developing an e-commerce product, and we launched it. And once we told ourselves, once we get to a certain point where we feel confident that we could do this full time, then we'll pull the plug. But until we hit those metrics, no, we very much were kind of doing it as many people have, like in a safer way, which is, still have your full-time income, but devote some hours to a concept that you're trying to test, I would say. Yeah, and that's the important thing, in my opinion, is to make sure that that concept is actually something that you can hit the ground with. You can run. How do you take an idea and take it to fruition? I mean, so I'll start from the beginning. I mean, the first product that I did with my business partner at that time, we just decided we wanted to hop onto this Amazon, I guess this growth of Amazon that sellers have been, successful. And we actually listened to a lot of podcasts about how to sell on Amazon, how to just generally do e-commerce, like selling on a website, that kind of thing. And, we were just looking around for products at that time. And one thing that my partner and I had in common is we were both really into fitness. So, he is like he's more into fitness than I. He's much better that he was an Ironman. And I just like to work out. Not too much, not as crazy as him. But so then we developed kind of a fitness like product line. We were doing something called a balance pad. We did like finger stretchers, like yoga type products. And we just kind of gave that a shot. We didn't really know at that time if it was going to work. We just thought we would do it and see what happened, because you just got to start somewhere, right? We had realized over time that we were kind of forcing a product into a market that was already saturated. And we just did that product because we liked it. And we realized at that time, that's not really going to work. You can't just take something you love and then force it into everyone else's hand. So we took that concept that had failed, so, we were getting sales in the beginning, but over time, because it was an easy product for everyone else to do. I mean, everyone loves fitness products because there's so much competition. Suddenly this whole market was flooded with the same products that we were selling. And they're the exact same product, to be honest with you. I mean, they're just doing what we were doing, but taking product from China, putting it into the US and Canada and seeing if they could make a margin. So after a few years of that, maybe it wasn't a few years, but after a year or so of that, we decided to cut that product off. But that's what kind of inspired the next round of products for us. And those products, we had a bit more idea of what we can do in terms of, instead of forcing a product into a market, looking at the market and see if we can build products around what's needed right now. And so a lot of the base strategy of the products that we ended up doing over time, even till now, is not so much, just taking something we like and selling it, but analyzing the market, seeing if there's margin to be had, and if there's a level of competition that we can actually accelerate through and become successful quickly. And to answer your first question, how much did it cost? I mean, and I'll lead into this a bit more, but I think prototyping and just getting what they call an MVP, minimally viable product, getting that into the hands of people and seeing if it works was goal number one. And I would say that didn't cost us much, because and I'll get into the product we started with, but we basically bought like 20 to 30 of the base model of what we wanted to develop, built it ourselves. It was pretty crude, right? But even with that, we were able to develop a concept, put it online, put it into Amazon, and see if anyone even just buys it. And until we had that proof of concept, until we had confirmed to ourselves even that people want this, we didn't take too many drastic steps in terms of one, committing too much time, or two, committing too much money and energy. So getting into that, the first product we actually, which one on the successful side, was actually a kombucha starter kit. So I guess this kind of comes from that line of health products and health things. But it's a funny story. I've told this to many people who would ask me about like the origins of the kombucha. So the company was called Brew Your Kombucha. And it started from my wife and I actually starting to drink kombucha for the first time. It was getting very popular. This was back in like 2016, probably. Reaching more of its peak popularity, we were drinking it quite often. And in Costco in Vancouver, they were selling like a 12, I don't know, maybe not 12, but like, yeah, maybe like an 8 or 10 pack of kombucha. And it was something crazy, like, you know, $4 per bottle. And this is at Costco where everything's cheap, right? Like, so you get that at a grocery store that's like $6 a bottle, $7. So it's like, still is. Yeah, it still is. And even here in Singapore, like you can get bottles like $8, $15, $20. That's pricey. So at the time, I was kind of into DIY stuff, and I'd brewed beer before. So I was like, okay, well, for Tina's birthday, you know, let me see if I can find a kombucha kit and we can just make it ourselves. To here, not that hard to do. I looked around everywhere in Vancouver, online, tough to find. Didn't really trust the seller. There's little kits here and there, and the one I ended up buying was from a local, I guess, a health store or something along those lines. They were selling a kombucha starter kit for, I think, 50 to 60 Canadian dollars. And all they gave you is a jar that this big, some sugar, some basic tea, and a SCOBY, which is the culture. So just those basic 4 items in a box, maybe, and like just maybe like a wooden box, nothing fancy. And that was like 50, 60 bucks. And I was like, well, okay, well, I bought it. Someone else bought it. There's people buying this. Maybe I can sell it. I mean, it doesn't seem that hard. After I started making the kombucha itself, I realized it's not a very complicated concept. You just need to make kombucha and it'll keep making itself. It's like the bacteria will just kind of replicate and you can keep making kombucha with it. Yeah. So I told this to my friend, became my business partner at the time. And he said, hey, why don't we just try turning this into a business? Again, I mean, this was just based on my personal experience that we kind of came across this idea. But one thing that was important is we took our idea and saw if it was working. So on Amazon, we had some tools where you can see basically how many sales people are getting on different products, on different keywords. And in Canada, we noticed that there's only one seller of this product, with the starter kit. Only one or two big ones in Canada. There's plenty in the US, plenty, but not much in Canada. So and then they were getting pretty good sales. I would say when we were looking at it, this seller was getting maybe $10,000, $15,000 a month in sales of these starter kits and SCOBYs. And with no competition, why couldn't we get in there and do that? So that was kind of where it all started. But to be fair, I mean, it wasn't easy. Making SCOBYs is really a simple process. And to make it on scale is even harder. Obviously, a lot of problems came from that. Just trying to, we went from growing 20 SCOBYs a week in my condo in Vancouver to doing 50 to 100 in someone's garage, and then we rented a garage. And then at our peak, we were doing around 600 SCOBYs a week. So, and obviously you can understand how scaling that would be a little tougher than scaling something else because you're dealing with live organisms. Okay. I want to back up on the Amazon part though. Yeah. So you're saying any of us right now can log in and for free and find out, you said through using certain keywords, find out how many kombucha sellers there are in a certain market. Not just you have some sort of, there's a plugin. So you have to download a plugin. Maybe you have to pay like a small subscription, but anyone can have access to it. It's not nothing expensive. But even if you wanted to just go on Amazon and estimate how much they're selling, that can be done too. Because Amazon just recently added a little feature where some of the top sellers will say sold 500 last month, right? So, and even if you just want to do the roughest of calculations, you just times that 500 by the price, and that's how much they did last month. So, and we're in Stick, Florida. How about, okay, so you had some prototypes, you put it out there on Amazon. How much did it cost you to list things on that portal? So Amazon's fairly reasonable. You pay like a monthly subscription. I don't think it's any more than like $40 a month. And then you pay the cost of the product for whatever you ship in. And then we were using what's called fulfillment by Amazon. So they warehouse the product and they fulfill it for you. So they do all the end-to-end shipments to the buyer. Yeah. And all in all, that's not that much more. I mean, for a kit, it depends on size, obviously, but for the kit, it would be somewhere in the range of like $15 per unit, in addition to like the monthly subscription fees and warehousing fees. So there isn't a huge startup cost. So there's not much barrier to entry to just get started. So now you've been in Asia. Is it the same? The model is all the same right now with Shopee, Lazada. Have you worked with all of them, or are you just came with one? So my current product, which is different from all of these, it's not actually in Singapore yet, but I'm bringing it into Amazon Singapore. I have worked with Lazada with my prior businesses. Haven't done Shopee, but I think they all work on a very similar model. And I know Lazada tried to kind of copy the way that Amazon has done things for their sellers, in that they provided a fulfillment by Lazada. So you don't have to physically hold your inventory in your home and fulfill it from there. You can just send it to Lazada and they can handle all the logistics of it. So my general experience with Singapore has been my products, which were the cocktail related products, they didn't really gain much traction here. But then again, we didn't really put too much time there. Yeah, at the time I wasn't living here all the time. I didn't have the need to expand here so quickly. We focused more on like Europe, Japan, Canada, US. Those were probably the big markets for us at the time. Yeah, but now you do have some new projects here. Yeah. And if I remember you like sharing with me that like you're partnering with someone now, like your model, you're doing more consulting now. Yeah. So do you still do some products or so? I do. I sold my business 2.5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. And then after it, I'd finished working with them because I stayed on for an additional 2 years. I then started a company here in Singapore, and I do my own e-commerce line, but also I've been consulting for other brands, trying to, I guess, get them past the initial stages of e-commerce, and also getting them into Amazon and US. That's what I've been helping them with. But I'm still doing the same kind of procedure in like bringing a new product to market and going through all the same learning stages and difficulties that I did in the beginning. Is that the long-term goal, to focus more on the consulting side for right now? It's a mix. I mean, after I had sold the business, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. And to be honest, I still don't fully think I do know exactly what it is I want. You have a website? Yep. It's product line. Yeah. Yeah. So this is, so the product line is after pickleball. And so pickleball paddles and accessories. I just launched it earlier this year, and just started selling it actually in the last 2 months. So yeah, I'm just trying to jump on the wave of pickleball craziness in the US. But also it is expanding quite a bit in Canada, Australia. So I'm trying to bring the product over here as well. But primarily my main focus is the US tourists. Oh, your consulting site, like do you have a site where you market yourself? Yeah. So I do some of my outreach through a system that kind of scrapes LinkedIn and finds business owners. Yeah. So that's one way. My current finds have actually been word of mouth. And beyond that, I haven't been doing I obviously network here and there. But recently, I'm not really looking for that many new clients unless it's something important, because honestly, I've got my hands full a little bit. On top of this, I do something called promotional wholesale. This is actually what this is. Yeah, promotional product. So basically, being the middleman between companies that need promotional items like, a coffee mug with a logo on it, or like a speaker or whatever, what have you. Yeah, paraphernalia. So I'm kind of being the middleman between the suppliers, mostly in China, and the products that they want to get in hand for conferences, events, for staff, that kind of stuff. So interesting. So yeah, those are the three things I'm doing right now. So yeah, I would say that eats up the majority of my time. But I'm always looking for other opportunities too. So that's why I'm kind of not sticking in one place right now. Yeah. So my frame of mind for this was e-commerce. It's good to be knowledgeable and skilled, but there also is a component of luck in any product and business. So I'm trying to spread myself a little bit, see what sticks.
Do you do any, like, your scope right now is not just Singapore, right? It's across Asia.
It's global. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's global. Held. Yeah.
Yeah. Blue Mountain's global. There you go.
But even using the pickleball stuff, for example, you're using Amazon to sell these things.
But yeah, I would manage all the logistics of getting the product from this supplier in China. Yeah, into the Amazon warehouses. But you can just use a shipping broker for that. All of that, like Amazon deals with it once they get it in their hands. But yeah, the rest of it, you can manage it yourself.
So I thought they handle the fulfillment though, you said, right?
Yeah,
They're holding on to your inventory at the moment.
Yeah, to the final mile, I guess you would say. It's just, once they order it on Amazon, it gets to them. But I also use Amazon. If I was to sell a product on my website here, I can redirect that order to go to Amazon. They'll ship that for me too. So see. Yeah, no, I've set this up so that I'm as lean as possible, and I don't have or hopefully don't need to have any staff. Yeah. So I can do this by myself, and I can do it wherever. That's kind of part of the light goal that I had for this business also.
Yeah. Well, another question here, like, what are the other ideas you have in mind but you haven't put into action yet?
On the horizon. Yeah, I can't say I know anything for sure. I've explored the ideas of buying a business ethically. I've explored it. I know that you're doing a bit of that research too, but it's always been on my mind. Whether I'll commit to it, I'm not sure. But I've thought of having a physical, like a brick and mortar type store or some kind of local business would be interesting. But yeah, I can't say I know for sure whether I would pull the trigger on that. But in terms of like other business ideas, I think because my strength is e-commerce, if someone was to ask me that question, I would probably tell them, I can't tell you, but this is how you do the research for it. Yeah. Because for me to say, hey, I'm interested in hiking, so let me do hiking products. I think that's the big thing that I picked away from a lot of my experience, is that it's just, just doing things that you like doesn't always work. It definitely can, but sometimes it makes it harder because you're doing something that if you like it, everyone else likes it. It's probably a very competitive landscape. That's why you hear these stories about people buying a gutter cleaning business and making filling. And yes, they don't care. They're not
the laundromat. Yeah.
Laundromat, I'll say. Yeah. They produce nuts and bolts, and they do something that's not sexy. And at times those can be the most profitable things, but no one has eyes on that because a lot of people want to do a business that's sexy because it's cool. Yeah. And I think if you can get away from that a little and maybe just take a step back and do it from an analytical way, just to make sure the market's there, and then present the market with a solution. I know that's something that's been said over and over, and probably people are tired of hearing that. But it has truth, is that, yeah. But it's why, yeah.